So a very beautiful moment. So pray that students, you are staying safe at home. So welcome to today's lesson, and I will be focusing on the continuation of our topic from where we left. That was the concept of the integration. And today I'll be talking more about the concept of the definite integral and the indefinite integral. So remember that in my previous lesson, I had given you the difference between the two. And we said that when you have been given the limit, then that one is going to be a definite integral, because it's giving you the range from where you're supposed to start and where you're supposed to stop. But then again, if you're trying to integrate something which does not have the limit, then that one is known as the indefinite integral, meaning at the end of the day, you need to introduce an arbitrary constant, which we give it as a letter C. So the objective of today's lesson is for you to be able to work out some of the questions that are involving the definite and the indefinite integral. And then from there, we will focus again on the area under the curve. Because we agreed last time that in my previous topic where I talked about the area and approximation, we talked about the two techniques. Technique number one is known as the trapezium rule, and you have the mid-ordinate rule. And we agreed those two rules, what do? They give an approximation of an area under the curve. But now when it comes to the case of the integration is going to give you an exact area. So it's going to be the perfect method of finding the area under the curve compared to the trapezium rule and the mid-ordinate rule. So that is the concept that I want you to be able to understand in this lesson. So in the case number one, what else we deal with the examples for finding the definite finding the indefinite integral there. So you can see in our A Roman 1, you have an indefinite integral there, you have number A Roman 1. Then we are told, when you see that sign, no one should tell you to integrate. But remember when you say that this symbol, just on its own, tells you to integrate. Then from there we say this one is x squared, that is our function that we're integrating, plus 1 with respect to x. That is the function that we are talking about. So if you are trying to integrate this function, remember the rules that we agreed, that you need to add the power by 1, then divide by the new power. So it is going to be the reverse of what you have been doing in the case of the differentiation. This time not reducing the power, no multiplying. It is now division and addition of the power. In this case you have the two terms there, you can be able to integrate them independently, then you join them, or you can be able to do it one by one. So for instance, in this case, our function is having two terms. And in this case, our first term is what? Our first term is x squared. So if we integrate this one is going to give us, add the power by 1, so that is going to be x squared plus 1, then divide by new power, which is 2 plus 1. So this one is going to give us x cubed, then over 3. Then again we come to the second term. The second term is 1. Remember in this one I told you there is an imaginary x there. There is an imaginary x in this, and there is an x here, raised to power what? Raised to power 0. That's the one again technique. That when you are integrating a constant, there is an x that is raised to power, 0. So in this case, you're going to have this one as 1, then x raised to power 0 plus 1, then divided by the new power, which is 0 plus 1. This one is going to give us what? It's going to give us 1 x power 1 over 1. Which translates to any number multiplied by 1 is that number. So it's going to be x power 1 over 1, which is going to be x. Then from there you join them. So that now we have our new integration as the answer. It's going to be, combine them. So this one is going to be x cubed over 3. Then plus what? Plus our x. Then again, because this one was an indefinite integral, we don't have the limit. It's not telling me where to start and where to stop. Then you have to introduce the constant, which we give it the name an arbitrary constant. And this is what we are calling the answer for the integration of this function. So that's what we are talking about. So from here to here, you can be able to see it's going to be the reverse of what you have been doing in the case of the differentiation. We are adding the power by 1 and then we are dividing by the new power. So that's what is there, and you can be able to see the answer there on my slide. Same concept is going to be applied on our Roman 2. Let's see what is there in Roman 2 again. And see in Roman 2, we are given the same concept and we are told there the sign is integrate, and then the function which has been given is x squared plus y(x) with respect to x. Again, integrate this one with respect to x again. You have the two terms in that function. You can be able to integrate them independently, or you can be able to do it one by one. So if we try to integrate this one, what you're going to result is you're going to have something like this one. This one is going to give us the first term here. The first term is x squared. So same case here, it's going to be x squared plus 1, then divided by new power, and it's 2 plus 1 in that case. So this one is going to give us what? X over 3 over 3. That's our first term there. So it is what? It is x squared. So this one, when it is supposed to be x squared there, that is x cubed over 3. Then here you have the second term is 4x. So this one is going to give us what? That is 4x. There is a 1 there plus 1 divided by new power, which is 1 plus 1. So this one gives us 4x squared over 2. Okay? Then here by 2, 1 by 2, 2. So you have this one is 2x squared. So finally the answer becomes what? It's going to be 1 over 3 x cubed, then plus 2x squared, then plus what? C. And this one is an answer that you're talking about. So those are the technique which I'm referring to when we talk to the concept of what? Of the indefinite integral. It is an integral which you have been given. You have not been given the limit. You have not been given the limit. So once you're not being given the limit, then that is the idea that you're supposed to be able to move. So there's no mark for separating the terms, so you can be able to carry out independently the whole of it. So no one will penalize you if you move directly, integrate this one, join train, and then you skip this step and this step. There's no mark for this step and this step. But again, what I'm trying to emphasize is for you to be able to get the concept. So when you come to now in part B, it is now different because we have now the limits. And see, we are trying to evaluate this one, x minus 4, x to power 4 minus 5, then from 0 to 1. So meaning, in this case, the limit have been introduced. So meaning you have to take now the consideration. If you are saying that when the limits are there, you are able to, there is no need of introducing the C, because you say you have to substitute the limit and then you work out your answer as shown below. So that's the question that you have been given there. Let's try to work it out. It's now B. So in our B part, we are told, as B Roman 1, we are given the function as the limit from 0 to 1, and then this one is going to be x to the power 4, then minus 5 dx. Then that now you understand what we have talked about in the case of the integration. So this one added the power by 1, so this one is going to give us what? This one when you integrate, you're going to have x to the power 5 divided by 5, then minus, here there is an x to the power 0, so that one is going to be 5x over 1, which is the same as that. And then from there, we introduce now the limit from 0 to 1. So remember this one, we know now how to integrate from here to here, because we are saying just only adding the power, then dividing by the new power. But this time we are not necessarily adding the terms because you have the limit. So once you achieve this one, it's now to come and substitute those limits to your equation and then you subtract. So you start with the upper limit. The upper limit is start. Then you subtract with the lower limit. So this one we will substitute in the case of the upper limit is going to be 1 to the power 5 over 5 minus 5 multiplied by 1. Then this one you work it out independently. Then minus the other one again. Work it out independently. So 0. It's going to be 0 to the power 5 over 5 minus 5 to the power 0. Minus 5 multiplied by 0. So you have this one 1 to the power 5, that is 1 over 5 minus 5. Then when you work out this one, minus, this one is going to be 0 minus 0. At the end of the day, 1 over 5 minus 5 give us what? That is negative 4. 1, negative 4 over 5, then minus 0. So finally, we have our answer as negative 4, then 4 over 5. So can you be able to see when we have the limits, then you're getting an answer as a number, but then when you have your indefinite integral, you have your answer as an equation. So that's the difference between the two of them, the definite and the indefinite integral. So same case for my next example, still the same concept. As you can be able to see, we have been given the concept in number 2 as the limit moving from negative 1 to 2. Negative 1 to 2, then the equation which has been given is negative x cubed. Negative x cubed plus 5x, then minus 2, and then you're given the x here. So you apply the same concept, but now when one of the limit is a negative sign, you need to be very keen on it, because the negative sign, sometimes they bring the trouble, because you understand what we said in Form 1, a negative multiplied by a negative, you get a positive number. Then a negative multiplied by a positive, you get the answer being negative. So if one of the limit is a negative, then you must be very keen on the way you are applying that concept. So still again here, on the case of the integration, we follow the same rule. Add the power by 1, then divide by the new power. This one is going to be negative x to power 4 over 4, then plus 5x squared over 2, then minus 2x over 1. So that is the idea we are talking about. Then in this case again, substitute to the limit. Remember the limit is from where? From 2, negative 1. So this one means that this one is going to be negative 2 to power 4 over 4. Then minus 5 into bracket 2 to power 2 over 2. Then minus 2 to power 2 there. This one, work it out, then you subtract. Subtract now the lower limit, which is negative. So this is I want you to be very keen. Negative, then negative 1 over 4 over 4 minus 5, negative 1 squared over 2, then minus 2 over negative 1 there. So when you press from the calculator, in that case, in our answer number 1, when you press from the calculator, this one is going to give you what? This one gives you 2, then the other one gives you negative what? The other one gives you 4, 1 over 5. So this is 4. 1 over 4. Then you subtract the two answers. So finally the answer is going to be 2 minus 4, 1 over 4, which is going to give us our answer as negative 2, 1 over 4. So that's the idea that I'm talking about in the case of the definite integral where you have the limits. So I'll be continuing with more of that in my next part of the video. Otherwise, our first part is over, so I am out.